Baloch militants attacked a Pakistan naval airbase, killing at least one soldier. This attack on the Turbat base in southwestern Pakistan was the second assault by ethnic Baloch militants on a military facility over the past week. Earlier, Pakistan's Gwadar port was attacked, for which the BLA claimed responsibility. 8 militants and 2 soldiers were killed in this attack on a complex outside Pakistan's strategic Gwadar port. Joining me to discuss the impact of these attacks on Balochistan are Brigadier Kuldip Singh and my colleague Deepak Bhadana here in the studio. Brigadier Singh, thank you for being on the News9 Plus Show.
Thank you, Sandeep and News9. It's always a pleasure to be with you all.
Why are the Baloch militants attacking Gwadar and now this airbase in Turbat, PNS Siddiq?
The Baloch separatism and the attacks against both Pakistani and Chinese assets in Balochistan actually merit analysis in the context of 3 diverse geopolitical dynamics. Now, the first dynamic is that what started off as a struggle for self-preservation of the Baloch aristocrats who were exploiting their people was later exploited by foreign powers, even as Pakistan mismanaged Balochistan.
You know, there's been an attack this afternoon in the northwestern region of Pakistan where 5 Chinese nationals were killed in a suicide attack.
Yes.
You know, so is there a new strategy now in among the BLA, the Baloch militants to target Chinese interests? That first you hit Gwadar, then you hit this airbase, which was also, I believe, being used by Chinese aircraft, and now this suicide attack killing 5 people. Is there a reorienting of their strategy now to attack China inside Balochistan?
The US CENTCOM's 5th Fleet is headquartered at Bahrain.
Yeah.
And Gwadar is located at virtually the mouth of the Persian Gulf.
Yes.
So a major Chinese military presence in around Gwadar is against the US's strategic interests.
Right.
Now, the PLA Navy's presence in the Indian Ocean, China's links with Pakistan, China's new military base at Djibouti, next to Camp Lemonnier, and Chinese assistance to Pakistan in the construction of a very low-frequency VLF facility at Turbat, that is north of Gwadar, for communication with strategic submarines assumes significance in this context. Now, this communication facility, VLF communication facility, is not really for Pakistan's strategic submarines. They don't have, a kind of a strategic construct for the submarines. It is the Chinese, which are, the Jin class, which will be there.
Yes.
So reports suggest that Baloch rebels are receiving discreet encouragement from nations opposed to China, its presence as Gwadar, and its potential of the CPEC-Ober construct to boost Chinese trade with the Middle East and Africa. Now, the point that needs to be noted is that the point I was trying to make is that what started off as a struggle by the Baloch aristocrats to maintain their own self-preservation was later, first exploited by the Iraqis during just prior to the Iran-Iraq war. They started sponsoring and funding the Baloch rebels, as a proxy against Iran and Pakistan. Now, during the Soviet conflict, there were reports of the KGB, funding the BLA and arming them because the Pakistan, Saudi, US combined was had intervened through the Mujahideen in Afghanistan. And post 2005, post 2001, there were many reports of Afghanistan accommodating Baloch rebels like Aslam Baloch and other separatists in Kandahar from Benin.
Yes, but Brigadier Singh, sorry to interrupt you, but this point that you made about the VLF station in Turbat, Deepak, Turbat is the area that was attacked today or yesterday. This is not a fact that's known to many people, but like you said, it's meant to communicate with submerged submarines, nuclear submarines, and that would make it a strategic Chinese asset within Balochistan. All of this is, so basically this fits in, you're saying, with the larger plan of attacking China within Balochistan.
Of course. You see, the VLF facility is very important for the PLA Navy's strategic submarines because, the Indian Ocean, as you know, they have been trying, since many, many years to establish a presence. And they were able to do that through the, anti-piracy task force, the APTC, that are the APTF, that you're able to establish a presence to that. And they have been running that and augmenting that presence in various ways over there. Now, the Indian Ocean is an area or a zone, IOR is a region through which a huge amount of trade passes between the West and Africa, etc., and Europe.
Yes.
So therefore, for strategic submarines to be able to operate over there, they require this communication facility.
Right.
And what better place than to establish a VLA facility than in a client state.
Right.
So this is a very important, setup for the Chinese.
Very important setup there, Deepak. And did you know of this existence of the strategic Chinese facility there in Pakistan, Balochistan, as Brigadier Singh was mentioning? And what do you think is going to be the larger ramifications of this Chinese presence in Balochistan?
I think what this attack shows is a consistent, pattern of Baloch militants who are increasingly targeting nationalist Chinese facilities, anything that is of interest to China. Because you must understand that for the Baloch, the Chinese interventions in Balochistan and in Pakistan represent a new form of colonialism. If you look at the files for the Gwadar project, it is envisaged that at some point as many as 5 lakh Chinese citizens will be living and operating there. Now to the Baloch, this is something that is completely unacceptable because what they fear is of becoming minority in their own province. As it is, the Baloch are overrun with Punjabi immigrants. To the north you have the Pashtuns who have been settled. So for the Baloch, this is an existential struggle. And you will see the 2 attacks in the last fortnight have been there. There was another attack, I think, sometime in January, again by the BLA.
And 2 years back. And Brigadier Singh, this thing of, do you see a ramping up of such Baloch attacks? I mean, it began 2 years back when they started attacking Chinese interests inside, Balochistan, where you had a female Baloch suicide bomber attacking one of these convoys, and there have been attacks on engineers. Now
all
Gwadar.
the way up to Karachi.
Yes,
gone
all
up to
over.
The Chinese consulate.
So, like you mentioned, this is possibly some other powers are interested, have a stake in ensuring that China doesn't kind of become too comfortable in Pakistan. That's what you're suggesting.
First, please allow me to give a different perspective on the, ethnicity in Balochistan. You see, if you look at Pakistan's provisional census of 2017, now, although a fair amount of parts have been withheld in that, it suggests that the largest ethnicity in Balochistan are no longer the Baloch, but the Pashtuns. Whereas the bogey of Punjabis running over in that area is being questioned. Nearly 5 decades of warfare in Afghanistan have led to many refugees coming down and settling down in the Pashtun majority areas.
Yes, absolutely. I'm afraid, Brigadier Singh, we're totally out of time, but thank you for putting all these things in perspective. Thanks for joining us this evening, Deepak. That's a story, Baloch striking inside Pakistan. That's a story we're going to be following very closely for the ramifications it has in India's neighborhood. A new great game that seems to be unfolding where Chinese interests are being targeted inside Balochistan by the Baloch freedom fighters. Thanks for watching.
Streaming on News9 Plus. News is now content. Subscribe and get free vouchers.